G'day folks, welcome to this continuation of the Ride of the Valkyries scenario. We are up to the turn 4, which is the 16th of December night turn. Just since the end of the last video I caught up a few errors, so I did forget to do a tactical assault here with the Fallschirmjäger. They were marked, I just completely missed it. And I had playing the ammo depletion rules wrong. You make one ADV roll per mission, not per volley. So there was one attack where I had like 3 volleys of artillery, totaling 24. I should have only rolled once, not 3 times. So a lot of the German artillery was depleted. That was a mistake. So I've gone back and re-rolled and fixed everything up. There's still quite a few depleted units, but not as many. There's not that flood of units as there were. Okay, so we are kind of at the start of this night turn. This will be pretty quiet because it is the first rest turn. You must have a rest turn for each force at some stage during the day. The Americans have to have it at night turn, but the Germans can secretly pick one, and it makes sense for them to, well, it doesn't necessarily make sense. They could pick it early and then have a next sort of exploitation night turn, and maybe follow that with an extended night turn. I think that's kind of what they might, what they could consider. But I'm having it at the night turn. Why not? Makes it easier, particularly when playing solo. I am just looking for my sequence of play and I found it. So we have no air allocation, it's not an AM turn. Weather determination is fixed, ground, interdiction, lull, command phase. Both sides designate rest game turns. Skipping through, we now have the allied player turn, allied mode determination. So in a rest turn, there's no prepared assault markers or exploitation, and if a unit moves more than half of its movement allowance, they suffer fatigue. Now the Fallschirmjäger are kind of swinging around here, and they're in a position now to attack this point here. Now we do have an armor. This is an M10, and I don't think they've been released yet. Which is one of the first things we need to do. Roll for release of formations. And this is where, at some stage in the turn, the Americans will roll to release some of their units. And it does happen this night turn. When does it happen? Just says the Allies roll a die, D10, divide the result by 2. Okay, so let's try that. Here we go. Rolling your dice. It's a 1. Divide by 2 is a half. Rounded up is 1. 1 unit is released. I'm pretty sure these are released. I think they've been rotated. I don't know why they're on an angle. All right, so what do we release now? I think I'll release, if I keep them there defending that point, there's not a lot I can release. I'll pull all these infantry back. That artillery is not yet released. Maybe start releasing units of the 2nd Division. I'm looking at this infantry around here. They could come forward maybe. So if I kind of release this battalion, the 2nd, 23rd, 2nd Division, and they can quickly rush down here towards Bullingen. Yep. And try and hold that pretty important crossroad. Now, of course, they will encounter the Truppenheit here, which may redirect them elsewhere, but we'll make a go of it at least. They can get close, at least. They may even stop here on this vantage point, just outside of Bullingen, and try and pull the 99th back through this area. All right, so that's 2 poor activation rolls for the Americans. We now have mode determination phase. As I said, that's fixed. Construction phase, they still can't construct anything. So we get to their movement segment. And there are no US reinforcements arriving either. Nothing arriving on this day. Night, I should say, according to the master reinforcement schedule. We do have some Germans arriving. I've already set this unit up over here. And I'm just going to double check that. Double checking the master reinforcement schedule, December 16th, 9th. Yep, just that one unit. We do have some units arriving in the morning. All right, so just fix up the American artillery. I don't know if they can fire at a night turn. I may need to double check that. They probably won't be able to see much because line of sight is limited to 1 hex. So they won't be able to see, for example, these Fallschirmjägers, even though they're right out in the open. Okay, so movement. Well, do I pull back from here or try and hold this line? This line has been decent. It's been good to get 3 of these formations in a line, but you can see the 277s have now cleared out this area and can just push through that forest towards my pretty vulnerable artillery pieces out here. I do have some engineers there, but they're down to 1 step. But perhaps more importantly, we're holding this primary road. We're blocking that primary road. We're in, these guys down here are full strength in an improved position. These guys are down to 2 steps. And these guys, well, they have the artillery with them. So what do we do? What do we do with the Americans? Do we pull back? Look, if I can occupy this position here, let's start with these guys. So these guys on a road, leg movement, they pay 1. I could do extended movement. Oh no, wait, it's a night turn. So if I rush them down, they'll suffer fatigue. It may be worth it. It may just be worth flying them down as quickly as possible. Just to get into a decent position. I'm just going to check the night turn rules. Actually, I need to look at extended movement for leg units as well. Suffering that fatigue, yeah, it'll half their combat, but that's a key location. So what I'm looking at here is extended leg movement, non-road movement, leg class. Leg class units. You can increase the unit by 2 if they're in attack mode. Start their movement on primary road, move entirely by primary road, doesn't start or end adjacent to an enemy unit, and is not observed by an enemy unit. So I can extend their movement allowance by 2, but they will become fatigued because they'll be moving more than half their movement allowance. That would mean what? Sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they could move into Bullingen then. Problem is when they cross this Truppen high, actually that'd just be cost 1, so they wouldn't have to go. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into that hex, and they'll suffer a fatigue. So I'm giving them a fatigue marker to give them that, basically because it's a night turn and they've moved more than half their movement allowance. What I do have now is an infantry battalion in Bullingen. I don't know if this is a good defensible area, but got to throw something there, right? Okay. Over here, I am worried about Fallschirmjäger just being able to sort of swing around or even drive on Bullingen. What's more important, pulling back or holding this point? I think I'll hold this point. I think, well, these guys, they're way out in the open, and if I abandon that position, I don't think the artillery can move. They're still locked in. What I could do is move into this forest here. So if I move up to there, it gives me a much better defensive position and does something to block 277 just driving straight through there. So I think that's a decent move to do. Sorry for the artillery. They may be sacrificed as a bit of a roadblock. These guys are pretty happy on that point. Elsewhere, we're in trenches here, all along here, so we're pretty happy everywhere, pretty much. Happy to hold those positions. So not a lot of American movement taking place. Just that one, rushing that battalion down. I mean, these activation rolls, that's twice in a row. I rolled a 0 first time, a 1 this time. Rounding it up, I think I rounded up, but anyway. In most cases, you'll round up if it's not specified. That's pretty much it. So in terms of artillery support, there isn't any because the Americans aren't going to be able to see much. They're in a west wall, so basically all the Germans are in covering terrain, and I can't see anywhere they'll be able to shoot at. We're looking for Germans out in the open, or Americans under a PA marker, but of course that won't be happening because they're not allowed to be under a PA marker because it's a night turn. So that's pretty much the end of the American turn. We will get to their administrative phase. And the one thing that is important is not fatigue recovery, it is their ammo replenishment. The Allied side may replenish depleted units by spending a dice roll or expending ammunition points. They're going to try a dice roll, so they need basically 5 or less. Success, they are replenished. And I think that's it. So all American artillery pieces are back with full ammo. The Axis side at this point may replenish artillery units by expending ammunition points. I won't do that. There's only a small number of them. Okay, so at the end of the American turn, heading into the Axis player turn, mode determination. Everything's under attack marker. No construction, so we get straight to the Axis movement phase and some much more complex decisions going on here. What do we do with the Fallschirmjäger? It is so tempting to follow this trail and just really threaten to outflank the Americans. I'm going to do that. Let's go 1.5, 3, stop there. It's half our movement, we don't suffer fatigue. These guys will go 1, 2.5, and there's not a road there, so I don't think you can move in a night turn. I don't think you can move. Units may not move directly from a hex adjacent to an enemy unit to another hex adjacent to the same enemy unit during a rest turn, I should say. So they can't go from here to here, for example. They could. Well, they're in a vantage point there, so that's a good observation point. They will. These guys will come back and they'll go 1, 2 like that to try and follow this, get back on this main road, and then we'll move the 12th Volksgrenadier up a bit more forward. We'll get these engineers. What do we got here? These guys are suffering fatigue, so they can rest, but they'll move in. We'll get these guys to go 1, 2. Artillery will remain there. We will get our Truppenhalt. Okay, so let's get these guys somewhere good. Let's Where are the American reinforcements going to be coming from? Where are they going to be moving through? Maybe this point here, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Occupy this crossroads. These guys will go 1. They roll a die. If they roll a 0, they're destroyed. They're fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17. So this is the primary road coming from Eupen. That's good. These guys out here, we're going to move them even deeper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a good diversion. And we'll move these guys up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. That seems to be, actually maybe there. We'll leave them there. This seems to be good places to, it's a bit off camera, sorry. Let me just pan around a bit so you can see where I've put the others. These seem to be good crossroads for diverting allied reinforcements as they come on. We do have more. Where did I see those other two? Here they are. All right, so first one, 1, 2, 3, roll the die. They're fine. 3. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I might hold them there. Follow the same path. First one, fine. Second one, they're destroyed. That's a 0. First troop and halt, eliminated. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set up on the map, setting them up on kind of key crossroads areas to try and block allied reinforcements as they sort of come to this area. These guys could move deeper, but this is kind of a point close to the front. I wonder if I should also consider bridges. So maybe holding these key bridges might be a good idea. I don't know. Okay, further movement. So they're going to rest and recover fatigue in a moment. These guys will just move up 1, 2, 3. Moving through a forest is going to cost me 2. So I can go 1, 2, and then 1, I think, along that secondary road. Yep, these 3. These guys are self-propelled, which I need to keep in mind. So they will just inch a little bit closer to the front, to there, and to there. And they're 150s, so they're fine. They're not self-propelled. They will change mode, actually. So I'll flip these over because they're way out of range now. And they will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All these artillery pieces should be rotated back. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. They are pretty much out of range, so we'll also flip those. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. They are pretty much at the limit. They're not self-propelled, so we'll flip them over and just get them to inch up a bit. To there. They are kind of still in range, so I'll keep these guys here. And maybe, look, I think I'll bring the 277th just... I'll move up a bit. Oh, they're really vulnerable. Actually, I do have replacements. I didn't do American replacements either. How did I miss that step? That was the... Where was that point? The replacement point segment. I did miss that. So the Americans have suffered quite a few losses over the last turn or two. And the Americans get 1 infantry replacement for every, oh sorry, 1 for every 4 infantry steps. And they have suffered 11, so they have 3 remainder and 2 steps. Okay. And they could have used that during their combat phase to go 1. And they moved. I think these guys were out of sight, so 2. Wait, that happens, sorry, at the end. So it could have been 2 there to spend those 2 steps. All right, so now 277. So the Germans have got, they've suffered only 3 losses, so not enough for a replacement. Although they do have 1 saved up, so I could spend that on the 277th here. That might be a good idea. Or maybe here. Right, we'll move these guys, leave these guys there. Might leave these guys there as well. I would like to break down those engineers into 2 steps. So I am going to look for 1, 2 German engineering steps and put them back. I think they were there. Okay, and we'll leave those guys there. 277th. Look, they've suffered some losses. Armour's not great through this area. That's also constricted terrain. So I'm kind of reluctant to... That's constricted terrain and in an improved position. I think I'd like to just detour around it. So maybe, like I might move in there, but with a view to moving beyond. And we'll do something similar with these guys. We'll move in, but not with a view to attacking. Okay. And now artillery behind the lines here. We have to remember to roll for that ammo depleted unit. I'll put them on top so I can recall that. I'll see them more easily. All right. And up in the north, trying to move my forces to concentrate here. So some of the 326 will come down. Actually, I believe these have suffered some losses. So if I can just, and fatigue. So maybe we'll move these guys into there, West Wall Hex there. They'll stay there because they are fatigued, they'll recover, and they've only got 1 hit left anyway. Oh look, they'll hold there. These guys may even pull back. They're fatigued, so they can come back and, oh look, they're fatigued as well, so they'll come back. And I'm guessing they're down to 1 step as well. Yep, so wow. Oh look, if they just stay in that, yeah, they'll hold the hex, I guess. Not much they can do up there. The poor battered 326th. My dog's wagging her tail on the camera stand. Okay. Yeah, what else? What else? What else? I think that's about it. Oh, these reinforcements coming in. Here we go. Let's make a movement 1. Oh, wait. So they've got a... From any entry. This is a decent unit. If I can get it to the front somewhere. Let's bring them on here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop there for now. Okay, and I don't have to worry too much about attaching them right now. So that's the end of pretty much the German movement phase. There's no combat for them. They could, in theory. Look, I think no, they can't. 1 hex range. So they can't see any Americans pretty much. So no artillery. For their ammunition recovery, we make some die rolls. Their ADV at present is 4. So that's a failure. That's a failure. I think it was their 1 out the back here. And that's a failure. So all their ammunition fails to... Oh, there we go, another one. Failure as well. So a lot of ammunition recovery failures. And that's pretty much, I think, the end of the night turn. Again, so this is where you could opt for an extended night turn, but nobody wants to do that. It's early and there's really no opportunity for exploitation. So Fallschirmjäger beginning to swing around and threaten Bühlingen and the flanks. The Americans are, as I said, are kind of inclined just to hold. What can a few Fallschirmjäger battalions do in this area? They'd much rather hold, block this main road. They're moving around, occupying the forest hexes, better defensive terrain, stopping the Germans just sneaking through completely. Artillery could be in trouble, yes, but there's a lot of artillery that could be in trouble. That's the decisions they've made. Meanwhile, the Truppenheit getting through and blocking those roads. So if the Germans really want the Americans to continue rolling low for the activation of their units. But otherwise, oh, sorry, I forgot German infantry replacement and fatigue recovery. So these guys, I said, they could recover fatigue. I have these guys here recovering fatigue. They didn't move. I have 1 point to spend on a unit that is not adjacent to maybe these guys here. That only gives them 1 point back though. They're only 4 at full strength. Like I might hold it for the time being. If I can use it on 12th False Grenadier, like 6 strength at full. Be good to spend it on these guys, for example. I might hold it. So I'll save that infantry replacement for the Germans. We'll save it for a better turn, something more important. Sorry, Doc's crawling all over the place. And that'll do. So end of the night turn, about to move into the 17th of December. And this is where fuel and ammunition becomes more important. And yeah, I'll run through that soon. Thanks, folks. Take care.